Howdy guys, Radio Magic here. I hope you're all having a fantastic morning, day, afternoon or evening, wherever you are and whatever you are up to. Today we are back on the channel testing how viable is Control, whether you're trying to climb to Mythic, maybe you're just trying to play around on the ladder, just playing a few casual games, or maybe you like making your opponent's lives as miserable as possible by countering all of their spells and drawing a ton of cards, maybe ultimating your Teferi as well, just clear the board of your opponent's permanents. Either way, here's a control list that you might enjoy and might do quite well for you on the ladder. I've had some success with it. So taking about 3 or 4 months off of recording videos recently, just got a little bit burnt out of Magic, wanted to play a few other games and yeah, just wanted to take a break from Magic ultimately. But we're back now after 3 or 4 months introducing Jeskai Control. And since our break, quite a few cards have been introduced into the format that I think change how Control plays, maybe just slightly. Maybe they're just better tools than we had available to us originally, but they give us some really critical tools that can tackle some of the decks in the meta. So I'm currently Platinum, I think, Platinum 4, and so I've tested it quite a lot off. We actually dropped down to Bronze, so I went from Bronze to Platinum testing this Jeskai list, and yeah, it's done really, really well for me, so hopefully it can perform in the video today. I'll go over some of the few changes that's been made since the previous list, some of the new cards, but overall, it's the same control list. Skip ahead, you'll find timestamps down below if you're just interested in finding the matches. We'll see how much time we've got. I'm going to ultimately try and make this video a little bit shorter than we'd normally make. Maybe cut it down to about the 1.5 hour mark. We'll see. We'll try and make this intro quickly as well. So we'll just get on to the core of the deck. So Archmage's Charm, probably one of the most influential cards to come from one of the most recent sets in terms of just control. Triple blue instant. You get to choose one, like counter a spell, draw 2 cards, or gain control of target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 1 or less, or mana value 1 or less as it's been changed to. You think this card would be really difficult to cast, actually, being triple blue, because you do want to cast it on turn 3. It's sort of competing for that absorb slot. But if you look at our mana, we're actually only running 2 lands that don't allow us to be able to cast Archmage's Charm on turn 3. So I found actually really consistently you are able to cast this, which is actually a big thing for the deck. Being able to take that Pelt Collector, that Esper Sentinel, just different things that are happening is pretty good. I like how Archmage's Charm has the flexibility of being like a 3 mana instant divination, but also it can be your absorb, or also it can be a removal spell for a 1 CMC non-land permanent. So yeah, I've been really impressed with Archmage's Charm, and the only reason I think would be holding it back over absorb, the life is not as good as the other modes of Archmage's Charm. It's mainly just the ability to be able to cast it. But like you said, mana's been changed, and we are able to cast that. We have given up on one of our castles. We are only running the blue castle now instead of the white one. So maybe that will come up as well, since that was a way that I used to quite often win, actually, just by making tokens and taking over that way. But yeah, we had to make some concessions to make this work. Also, Sunset Reverie, it's like competing with Timely Reinforcements, which is a card that I think can see some play as well. This originally, I was running some number of them in the sideboard, but I've moved them over to the main board, essentially because it's just a meta call. I've been facing so many different creature lists. The control lists pop up every now and again, but I feel like we've got a lot of good tools to fight control in the main deck and sideboard that we don't have to worry about too much. So I'm really worried about them creature matchups. So I decided to put just a bit more interaction on the lower end of the curve. And obviously, I think we're playing it mainly for the first 2 modes, just to gain a little bit of life and to create them creatures as chump blockers. But in the matchups where it's completely dead, you're not really going to be using them first 2 modes. Hopefully you can wait for a moment where you've got 2 spare mana to essentially just 2 mana cycle this. Maybe you get a little bit of extra value, but you're just looking for that cycle. So I found Sunset Reveries pretty good. It's just sort of where I'm at the moment. So maybe you want to fluctuate this out. Originally I was running Prismari Command instead of that. So it's your call. Prismari Command is really flexible as well. You can sometimes get them 2-for-1s, like shooting an artifact, an Esper Sentinel, and then also dealing 2 damage to kill something else. You can cycle, stock the graveyard for Search Rescanter, or you can ramp yourself a little bit and maybe go into a turn 4 Teferi, hold up your Lightning Helix, your Memory Lapse. There's so many different things you can do with Prismari Command, so good for that reason. I guess other bits in the list, we weren't running a companion before. I've decided to put a companion in, just see how it gets on, essentially. I've seen a lot of Azorius lists and Jeskai lists running companions just because it's essentially a free card. Obviously, you have to take it out of your sideboard. We're only running 14 cards in the sideboard, but I think it's well worthwhile. I don't tend to bring her out of the sideboard. I don't tend to spend the free mana to put Kihira into my hand very often, but sometimes I do. So it's just an extra tool that you've got available to you in a really grindy matchup. Maybe you just got tons of mana, so you can spend that 6 mana, or you can split it up over 2 turns to cast Kihira. Other cards on the list that are noticeable, decided to put in the Commit to Memory just as a way to cycle back through our list. Obviously, you've got the Narset combo. It's just another sort of angle of attack on your opponents. Authority for them hasty threats, Gruul. Portable Hole, another card that's been introduced. Found it really good. Maybe you actually want to run 2 of these, but yeah. It's good against multiple different lists. There's a lot of Luris lists as well, and obviously this hits every single card in the list apart from the Luris, so really good for that. Graveyard Hate comes in the form of Rest in Peace. Goblins isn't really a thing at the moment, so Grafdigger's Cage isn't as good, so I found Rest in Peace is a good substitute there. Only 1 Aethergast, 2 Burning Hands for you've got Questing Beast, and the other 4 mana Dinosaur that you can pay a green to give it haste or trample on that, and it's got protection from blue, so that can be a very difficult card to answer, so Burning Hands is in the sideboard for that. Fry for our control matchup, as well as like Dovin's Vetoes, but Fry can also come in against things like humans, mono white, various different things that we need to kill. Also like mono blue as well, obviously can't be countered, so pretty good at taking out the Curious Obsession, though I haven't seen too much of that about. Like I said, Dovin's Vetoes as well, Mystical Dispute, just one of, get it in there. And yeah, that's the control list. So we'll see how we get on. I've tried to keep the intro as short as possible, but it always goes over. Like I said, go into the description below, find the timestamps if you're interested. We're going to try and make more uploads going forward. Maybe stick to a few a week. Hopefully we get round to that. And more info at the end as well for other things that are going to be coming up on the channel, un-Magic related. So if you're interested in other things that aren't Magic, stick around to the end and maybe you'll find something of interest. We're going to try and play 4 or 5 games, depending on how much time we have. Maybe we'll play 3, we'll see. But like I said, I'm going to try and keep the length of this video down as much as possible. And on that note, I'm going to stop rambling and we'll just jump into the first game. So I'll catch you again at the end with a wrap-up. Okay, so we are on the play with some Jeskai Control in Historic. And what do we think of this hand? Seems quite reasonable. All of our colours, all of our lands are going to enter untapped as well, apart from future triomes. Got Memory Lapse with some interaction. And if we don't draw our 3rd land at some point, we can just cycle these Shark Typhoons. And as long as our opponent doesn't get under us, we should be okay sort of managing what our opponent's up to. So we'll keep this. And I guess if we find our 3rd land, we can always just draw 2 of our Archmage's Charm. Opponent's mulliganing 3 times. This might indicate like a Treasure Cruise list or Tybalt's Trickery. But yeah, I've been out of playing Historic for a while. I got myself up to Platinum, but apart from that, haven't played too seriously. So it feels good to be back, playing a bit. We'll see all these lists, and hopefully we won't get caught out too much, and I'll at least recognise what our opponent's up to. So we'll just play Glacial Fortress here. Hold up that Memory Lapse in case our opponent's up to something. I mean, they're in their colours. Guess we'll just Memory Lapse this. Make our opponent redraw it, and then we can just cycle the Shark Typhoon next turn. And then trade with it if that's what our opponent wants to do. But if our opponent's on like a generic aggro list here, going to feel pretty good about our situation. Especially since we get to trade here. Obviously draw a new card, we've got our next land drop lined up. And Archmage's Charm. Obviously just going to cut off what our opponent's up to. See if our opponent has a land. They do have one. Do we feel the need to attack down for Narset? If our opponent goes another Dreadhorde Butcher, we can block. Equally, our opponent could have like a hand hate spell. Or just like play land and pass. Like I said before, worst case scenarios, we can either just cycle the Shark Typhoon for 1 or draw 2 of an Archmage's Charm. Okay, opponent's going to scoop it up. Maybe just not interested in playing against control, or just not interested in a hand where they're to mulligan to like 4. But we saw some haste there straight away from our opponent, so it's probably a reason to bring Authority. There might be just like a Rakdos like aggro list. Maybe running like Glorybring on the top of the curve or something. Either way though, they might have some Graveyard Synergy being in black, but we're just going to bring in some of our removal here. And hope that that's enough. I wonder if we want to bring in Aethergust. Might be like overkill. Things we might want to cut though. Think like Revelry will be okay. It's a little bit of life gain. Trim a Shark Typhoon. I think this is going to be a matter of trimming. A lot of the time it is. We don't know how heavy our opponent is on like Planeswalkers. If they're quite top heavy and that was just a outlier, the Dreadhorde Butcher, then I guess we want to keep in our Archmage's Charms, but we'll trim one of each of our counter spells because we kind of want to play more to the board in these games. So we'll run it like that and see how we get on, but there could be a good chance we bring back in our counter magic and our Ether Gust, and also being on the draw as well makes your counter magic a little bit worse. So factoring all that in, we'll run it like this. Okay, so we're on the draw this time, and this hand looks okay, a little bit slow. If our opponent has like a Thoughtseize, Inquisition, we're going to feel a little bit sorry. But equally, I don't really like mulliganing against decks with Thoughtseize and Inquisition. This might be a game where we play Expressive Iteration on 2, we'll see. But I think we're going to keep this and see how it gets on. I think the double board wipe against the Dreadhorde and Butcher that we saw last turn, probably going to be okay. Okay, might be just some sort of like sacrifice list if our opponent's playing Cauldron Familiar. Which, if they have like a hand hate spell here, we're going to feel pretty bad. Do we want a shock here to be able to play Expressive Iteration? I think the answer is yes. We fall to 15, take 3 more, going to fall to 12. But if we find like a Lightning Helix or something, at least we can do something next turn. Guess we can play Narset next turn, but I kind of want to use all of my mana here. We do miss out on the land drop, but we have our 4 lands. So, I guess we put Commit to Memory in our hand. Probably rather draw the Steam Vent, so we'll just exile this and then pass it up. Don't know if that's correct or not. Maybe it was best to wait, but I was hoping to find some sort of interaction. Portable Hull, Lightning Helix. But unfortunately, did not. Okay, I thought the consoles is something to do. It's not very mana efficient. Going to be taking 3, 4 here. 4. So we're going to fall to 8. This is going to pick up a counter if they sacrifice to the Priest. So I'll be on 8. We'll take 4 from the Butcher. Bring us to 4. 2 from the Priest. Ugh. Yeah, not looking too good. Think we just got to play the Authority here. Try and mitigate some life. Save some life here. And then it sets up for us to like board wipe next turn. And then whatever our opponent decides to put down, at least we'll get some life off that. But it would have been really nice with the expressive iteration to pick up some sort of interaction here, because to take out this Butcher would have been really nice without losing the life. Yeah, we're gonna take quite a bit of damage here from this Priest. Oh, I think we're just dead actually. Maybe we survive on 1. Okay, so we have our plan. We're board wiping. I think we're just dead with the Blood Artist here. I take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah. I don't think there's too much we could have done about that. And then obviously the board wipe's going to kill the Blood Artist and that, and then we're going to be drained for the last 2. Sweet, okay, so I'd like to say close, but not really. We needed some extra interaction. So seeing what our opponent had there, they only had the Dreadhorde Butcher that was red, so I don't think we want to bring in Ether Gust. We saw Cauldron Familiar, which might be a reason to bring Archmage's Charm if they got the Oven. Equally, like, Prismari Command could be okay. Dreadhorde Butcher's going to get out of the way of it pretty quick, but we can destroy Oven. Opponent might have some graveyard synergies, but we haven't seen any so far, so we can't assume that, especially going into the final game here. I think we're just unfortunate not to draw our early interaction. I think we'll just bring in this Memory Lapse maybe and cut Commit to Memory. I don't see Commit being amazing in this. We should be able to take over with Shark Typhoons and just Teferis, so we don't have to rely on recycling our whole deck. The only thing I'm sort of debating to bring in or not is the Prismari Command. But I think we'll leave it out. We've got enough interaction. Could be a reason actually to bring in, like, I guess it all dies. And if our opponent goes like turn 2 Dreadhorde Butcher, turn 2 Priest of the Forgotten Gods, we can at least shoot it on turn 3. So it might be a reason actually to bring this in. And maybe we'll just cut like a Memory Lapse. Could be an argument to like trim a Teferi, like take out Searchfast Canter, but yeah, we'll trim a Memory Lapse and see how we get on. Okay, so game 3, game phase is on. Our opponent in game 1 mulliganed to 4, I think. So Yeah, we definitely had an edge over them, and then we sort of got smashed in game 2. So hopefully game 3 will be a bit better. We might actually be able to draw a card of this Sunset Reverie as well, so we'll see. But I think we're going to keep this. 3 lands is good enough. We can draw again with the Archmage's Charm. Some early interaction. Okay, Cauldron Familiar. Okay, so yeah, we have 7 cards, opponent has 6, so we'll be able to draw a card, we will make 2 creatures, but we won't gain the 4 life. Is that better than just keeping up Memory Lapse? Sort of prevents our opponent from attacking. I don't know if Lightning Helix is going to be very good. I think it's probably better, like, we don't really need to worry about the life that much, we're going to get to draw a card off of it. Try and hit our land drops, sort of shuts down that Cauldron Familiar attack. It is unfortunate we weren't on 1 higher life. 1 lower life, just so we could have gained 4. Looks like a pretty good Lightning Helix target, but I guess we can just hold up Archmage's Charm here, though. Could steal the Cauldron Familiar now. I guess it sort of prevents our opponent from drawing the extra card as well as playing Narset. We've also got some good defense on Narset, so maybe we'll just establish our board a little. And then next turn, I guess we can hopefully answer something with Memory Lapse and Lightning Helix. So let's go this way. Also, finding a board wipe might be pretty golden as well. Okay, Archmage's Charm or Teferi. I think we'll diversify what we've got and take the Teferi. Do need to hit an additional land. But we've already got 2 counter spells in hand, and we're tapping down this turn, so we're going to have to play to the board a little bit more. Okay, sweet. Board wipe's good. Opponent's going to get a bit of value off this, unfortunately. But I still think we go for the board wipe. Opponent's going to get to draw a card, scry. Unfortunately, we can't really protect our Narset here. Yeah, let's just tick down. We'll see what we find, but it's quite likely that we're just going to board wipe here. It might have actually been correct to Expressive Iteration. Yeah, we'll sacrifice. Expressive Iteration to find our additional land for next turn. Maybe could have got one for this turn as well, and then just Lightning Helix. Maybe the Woe Strider, since that was the biggest threat coming out of Narset. See if our opponent can utilize his 2 black now. No. So essentially we're hoping our opponent plays something here that we can answer with Lightning Helix. Okay, whenever it comes tapped, you can sacrifice another creature to give it indestructible, so we really do have to answer this before our opponent gets to tap it. Or sacrifice another creature to give it indestructible. So I guess since we found our land, we're just going to Lightning Helix here. And then we'll just hold up Memory Lapse. And then if we find a land next turn, then I guess we get to Teferi, hold up Archmage's Charm. Or we can just take it slow and like play Expressive Iteration. Yeah, I think that's a worthwhile Memory Lapse target. Okay, Blood Artist at least has no power. Okay, so I think we have to set up our lands here and hopefully find an additional counterspell for next turn with Teferi. Okay, so we don't need... I guess the land Clifftop Retreat would actually be really good this turn. So I'm probably going to keep the Narset in our hand, play the Clifftop Retreat, and then we can play Authority of the Consuls holding up Archmage's Charm. So I guess Authority of the Consuls actually just shuts down this Chandra as well. They can create 2 elemental tokens, but they're going to enter tap, so it'll just gain us 2 life. So they can add loyalty onto it or get an instant or sorcery out of the graveyard, which they don't have. So yeah, put Narset into our hand. Put this on the bottom. And then exile this. Play the Clifftop Retreat. Please tap correctly. Yeah. and then pass it. Took a little bit to get there, but we got there in the end. And then I think we're just going to allow the Chandra to resolve if that's the case. Not too scared of it. I think them tokens do enter tapped.
Living in a monastery full of firebrands? It's awesome.
Our opponent could like utilize the sacrifice to add black with the Phyrexian Tower. Okay, so opponent didn't realize the authority interaction there that they obviously enter tapped. But yeah, sweet. I feel like we were getting into a position there where we were going to start locking down the game. I don't know what our opponent could have done. If they didn't cast Chandra, let's say they saw that interaction. This is 4, so they can't use the Woe Strider. So they got 1 card in hand to do something. If it's not impactful, which there's a good chance it's not going to be an impactful, we just let it go, and then we play Teferi, can Archmage's Charm on the next turn. There's no threats on board. If it is impactful, then I guess we can Archmage's Charm, and then we can either Narset to tick to try and dig for another answer to what our opponent could have, or we can just Teferi, tick up, and then we've got a Shark Typhoon to throw in the way for something. Also, these decks tend not to be able to answer a hard cast Shark Typhoon, so we could have just took a turn off, just cast Shark Typhoon, and then played Teferi on the next turn, made a 5/5, and had a pretty considerable blocker. So we were getting to a position where we're going to start locking that down. But yeah, that's sweet. Let's move on to the next game. Okay, we're back with some more Jeskai Control in Historic on the play, and this hand looks really good. All of our lands got perfect mana, got some early interaction, and we can stop what our opponent's up to and run the play, so this counter magic is going to be quite a bit better, so we'll keep this. There is an argument to holding one of the triomes, so we can cycle it, but we do want to hit our land every turn. And apart from Archmage's Charm, we haven't got too many ways of drawing extra lands. Okay, so not sure what our opponent's up to. Could be like a Blink list, could be like a Taxes list, could be a Humans list as well. I guess most likely to be Humans here. So could be looking at like a Thalia this turn. Kite Sail Freebooter. So I guess our opponent's likely to take the Lightning Helix here. If we Memory Lapse this, then at least we get to play Narset next turn. And then if we find another removal spell, then it makes the Kite Sail Freebooter worse. And if we find a board wipe, it's fine. In these sort of aggro mid-range lists our opponent's playing, it's really important to spend your mana as much as you can each turn. Rather than sitting back, not using it, and then being stuck with a load of counter magic in hand. Shark Typhoon is going to prevent our opponent from attacking most turns, so maybe we want to take that. Teferi could also be good. But I don't think we want a third Archmage's Charm, so we'll just take the Shark Typhoon. At least it gives us something to do next turn if we don't want to cast Lightning Helix, or if our opponent takes the Lightning Helix here. So yeah, Cuman's confirmed. Okay, so opponent gets a good look at our hand. I assume they're taking Lightning Helix here. It'd be great to find an untapped land just so we can sort of threaten the Kite Sail Freebooter and the Thraben Inspector. Oh, it's going to make our situation a little bit more difficult. Yeah, Dauntless Bodyguard is pretty good, being a human as well. So I assume our opponent's running Esper Sentinel as well.
Interesting technique.
Okay, no land. I think I'm just going to trade in Narset here. Just get our 2 for 1. Just try and find a removal spell, board wipe. Okay. Probably just take a Search Rescanter here. Okay. Only land we can play out. Do we want to play Search Rescanter here, or do we want to potentially counter something? I guess we could like steal something. We could steal the Dauntless Bodyguard. Our opponent can sack it in response, but yeah, we'll just pass the turn here. We could cycle Shark Typhoon as well if our opponent wants to attack with the Dauntless Bodyguard. Interesting to note, our opponent's not running Luris as well, so it'll be interesting to know why they're not running Luris. It could be the Human Lord is the reason they're not running it. I think it's the Orzhov 3/3. Okay, legendary humans you control have indestructible, so that doesn't matter to any of these. And you can exile a card from a graveyard. If it was a creature, create a 1/1. Okay. That's fine, not too worried about that. A bit more scared of its stat line than its effects. Okay, so opponent wants to attack here. I don't know if this is greedy or not, but we're gonna We're going to cycle and try and eat this Dauntless Bodyguard if we can. Our opponent knew about the Shark Typhoon, so... Okay, they're just going to sack. So one can only assume that they had an answer to it, but I guess not. So now we're hoping to find any sort of removal spell would be great. Board wipe would be preferable. Okay. No such luck. So taking 4 on the way back. I guess this is an okay turn to get our Searchlight Canter down. Play land. Yeah, I think we got to hold up Archmage's Charm. Yeah, I was sort of putting myself in a position where we could maybe Narset, tip down, find board wipe, and cast the board wipe. But I really want to use this Archmage's Charm to... I wanted to stop a Dauntless Bodyguard or something, but... I think we're going to have to draw 2 with it here. And then we get a look at Searchlight Canter. So it's like 4 looks to try and find something. Going to be taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. Essentially halving our life total. I think we have to go for the board wipe here, and if our opponent tries to cast a Dauntless Bodyguard or something, probably just have to let it go again. So yeah, let's just draw here. Could also steal the Inspector. Okay, so we did find the board wipe. Cards in graveyard 4, so this will be our 5th. So we'll be flipping Searchlight Canter next turn if we decide to put this in. Equally, we have our 4 lands, so we'd be cycling Shark Typhoon for 0. So we'd probably just graveyard it at that point. Memory Lapse was excellent. Yeah, Memory Lapse was probably one of our best draws. Now we have, like, arguably 2 of our best cards up for our opponent's turn. They're in a sticky situation now since we get to flip Searchlight Canter. And we're not going to cycle this Triome at any point. We're just going to play this out when we get the opportunity to. But our opponent's in a bit of a tough situation here. Yeah, we'll just graveyard that. Guarantee that we flip Searchlight Canter. And then I think, yeah, we're just going to play this out, and I think we're just going to pass with Archmage's Charm up, Lightning Helix, Memory Lapse, and then just activate Searchlight Canter in the end step. Think I'm happy just to... Could just let this resolve. Like, we haven't even gone past... We've got one Lightning Helix. It's very, very likely off our Expressive Iteration or Searchlight Canter we're going to find a removal spell to answer this Kite Sail. And they kind of have to take the Lightning Helix, otherwise the Kite Sail did nothing. But with our opponent looking at a hand like this, I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to scoop it up and move on to the next one. Yeah, that's fine. Already flipped our Searchlight Canter, so absolutely fine. Yeah, you can have that. Do you want to draw just here? Probably want to just draw here. Make sure we hit our lands. Okay, not finding an answer to the general here is a little bit awkward, but we have Shark Typhoon. We'll see if we can find something with the Expressive Iteration. No. So it Steam Vents into our hand. This on the bottom. So I guess our plan here is to cycle Shark Typhoon for free, eat the Kite Sail Freebooter, and still hold up Memory Lapse, take our free, and then we've got the Lightning Helix to answer something. Ooh. Yeah, I don't think we can allow that to resolve. And then our opponent really can't attack here at all, but we're gonna probably just activate Searchlight Canter. If our opponent doesn't attack, we just get to activate the Searchlight Canter. If they do attack, we get to eat the Kite Sail, and then obviously, yeah. So we'll just eat Kite Sail here. And then I guess we're just looking for... Yeah, I still think this is probably best because we get to keep our Shark this way as well. And then we get to gain some life. Don't get to make any 1/1s. Sweet. Okay, so we took it down. Humans, if they manage to establish like a board state, it can really be an issue, but we managed to get around that. So no Luris, so we're not even contemplating whether to bring in Rest in Peace. Authority is always like iffy because our opponent hasn't got any hasters, but obviously passive life gain as we go on. And one can only assume that they have Esper Sentinel, so maybe Prismari Command is something we want to bring in. I haven't really got too much for this matchup. I mean, Fry is going to be just a removal spell to pretty much anything our opponent's got, apart from, I guess, Kite Sail Freebooter. Everything else, Fry will answer, just 1 for 1. Hopefully it will answer this as well. I think we want to bring in Portable Hull. Let's bring in Fry as well. I assume our opponent just couldn't find a Thalia there, but they've got to have Thalias. So we'll just cut some of our counter magic on the draw here. Probably bring it back in for the play. Burning Hands, sorry, we could bring in. But 2 damage just seems insignificant. This is really there for the mono-green matchup. Our opponent's trying to bring in some opposition to what we've got going on. The 4-mana Haster. So yeah, probably just bring in Prismari Command here and cut the Archmage's Charm. Memory Lapse is probably going to be enough. I've been really impressed with Sunset Revelry off of recording. It hasn't done too much today, but hopefully we'll get to see it in action, gain us a little bit of life. Okay, so back on the draw this time against this Orzhov Humans list. And what do we think of this hand? This hand is really, really slow. We're essentially not doing anything. We get to turn 2 Memory Lapse, but opponent's already played 1 and 2 drop by that point, so we're already behind there. And then we got 3 turn 3 plays, essentially. So we're going to mulligan this for a little bit more interaction. This hand looks a bit better. We're just going to maybe put Teferi on the bottom. There's a good chance that these expressive iterations won't be able to find us the lands required. So it's definitely happened to me more times than one, where you expressive iteration, don't find any land, or you maybe just find 1 and then you can't get to your 4th land. Yeah, and Sunset Revelry, really good when your opponent's on the play as well. You're pretty much guaranteed to get them creatures. It's good when we're on the draw, when we're on the play, because obviously we get to draw the card a lot of times, which isn't as valuable in the matchups where we want it. The way I kind of evaluate this card is I'm playing it for the first 2 modes, but in the matchups where it's completely irrelevant, it might be just a 2-mana cycle, maybe make 2 1/1s. But it's basically just in there for a little bit of tech. I found I was facing a lot of creature matchups, like obviously we faced today. Okay, so opponent's going to slow us down. They'll just play the stat. Not sure what we want to lead with next turn. Could be just expressive iteration. I guess our opponent's going to determine that here. Not sure what they take here. Could be Day of Judgment, just in case we can find an answer to the Thalia. Sunset Revelry like buys us a bit of time. We're gonna take 2 here. We're gonna move back up to 22 if we want to cast it. Won't draw a card. Obviously, our opponent's got less cards in hand, but we get to make 2 1/1s, so we get to block the Thalia. Okay, our opponent's gonna take that. Looks like that, so it's completely off the table. We'll stop talking about that now. So we could play Searchers Canter, but I really think we need to dig deeper, make sure we can hit our lands. And this is what I was saying, so I'm gonna put Fry into our hand. I guess this really doesn't matter. We'll put Archmage's Charm back on the bottom, and we don't need another expressive iteration. But yeah, we might miss our land drop here, and that will be probably spell defeat. Depends on how much pressure our opponent puts us under here. It's going to be quite a bit. Could have had time to play the other expressive iteration, but I don't think we're going to have time to do that. Okay, we did hit land. So take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can fall to 1. And then we get to potentially board wipe if our opponent doesn't have another elite spellbinder. On the other side, we could just pass the turn, fall to 1, and then fry the Thalia to guarantee that we can board wipe on our next turn. I think we're gonna go with a fry instead. Could save a lot of damage here if we decide to destroy the general. Okay, this sort of puts a spanner in our works. We're gonna have to, yeah, we're gonna have to draw a basic land now. Well, I guess we can shoot the god, but we're gonna have to draw land because Day of Judgment's gonna be quite a bit more expensive now, and we're still falling to 1. Yeah, so let's fall to 1 and hope that we draw an untapped land here that doesn't require us to shock ourselves. Oh, sometimes it just works out. I mean, we're definitely not in the clear, but Sunset Reverie is going to gain us a bit of life, put some more champ blockers in the way. Okay, can we get greedy here and Expressive Iteration, hopefully hit a land? I guess we could hit some of our removal spells as well, because Sunset Reverie is going to buy us 2 turns, I guess. We're game up, so if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I guess it's okay. So let's put Memory Lapse into our hand. I still get confused every time we do this how this works. What order we need to position the cards in. So would have really liked to find a removal spell there. But I guess we've still got so many of them in the list. So potentially got 1 more turn, but got a cycle here, so yeah, just play this tapped and we're just gonna go for a cycle. Probably just gonna champ block the Thalia, and then cycle the Shark Typhoon, kill the god. So 1, 2, 3, 4 we can cycle it for. Cycle, chump block, and then we've got the Shark to block the Thalia on the next turn. And this way we give ourselves like a little bit of leeway if our opponent can get round with 1 creature, at least we're not on 1. And if our opponent doesn't have anything impactful now, hopefully we can just begin to take over. I wonder if we just want to pass the turn here. Let's just pass the turn. Got a Lightning Helix to answer something, Memory Lapse, something back at the top, and then we're in a position where we can Narset and then get that going with Searchers Cantor as well. So yeah, humans, they had a really good start. I actually thought there was a point there that we thought we were definitely going to die, but yeah, Glacial Fortress came up. I think there was a few lands we could have drawn, but yeah, not many outs there. So we managed to pull through, fall into 1. So pretty intense match, which is what we enjoy. But yeah, Sunset Reverie actually came through to save us there. Had we not have had that, we'd have been in a pretty sticky situation. Guess we could have found like Lightning Helix or something instead and answered the god, gone back up to I think 4 life, but then we didn't have the champ blockers for the Thalia, so kind of did a lot of things there. But sweet, yeah, let's move on to the next game. Okay, so Jeskai Control in Historic. Our opponent's on the mulligan, no companion, so no idea what they're up to. Not running any sleeves, not like us, so not themed. What do you think of this hand? 2 lands, Searchers Cantor can help us dig, Shark Typhoon I guess can cycle, Sunset Reverie. Our opponent's mulliganed, so unlikely we're going to get the draw, but if our opponent's a creature deck, at least that will help us catch up. So I guess we'll keep this hand. And yeah, I don't know if Sunset Reverie is something we want to play. Maybe you want to play Timely Reinforcements as well, like to get a little bit extra life, a little bit extra board presence. But I found I've just put this in the main just because I'm playing against so many creature decks at the moment that it's really starting to annoy me getting run over all the time. So just having a few copies of these feel pretty good. Looks like we're against like the Colourless list. Ooh, haven't played against this in a while. So yeah, Sunset Reverie doesn't really do too much at the moment. We're just going to play Searchers Cantor. Unfortunately, the Clifftop Retreat obviously not going to allow us to play the Archmage's Charm. Which, there's the argument between this and or Absorb. I've really found you can cast this more often than not, though. Obviously, it does come up. You're unable to cast it like now, but most of our sources, most of our mana in the list does consist of blue. I think we run like 2 Clifftop Retreats, and that's it. Everything else is blue. So just unfortunate that we found that. Unfortunately, not going to be able to answer Khan here, but we can create a 1/1 and then smack him. Opponent maybe go for like a Sorcerer's Spyglass here or something. Just to see what we're up to. Could be control. It looks like we're controlless, obviously, with the colours we're playing. Search Fast Canter. So they might want to just take a look at our hand, get a bit of information, and also shut off either Teferi or Narset, which is typically the 2 main Planeswalkers. They're going to go over Golos here. I think currently they don't have the ability to activate Golos's. Yeah, they can't activate Golos at the moment. We're really hoping to draw blue source here. Sweet. I think we can just graveyard this. We don't really want to tap land at any point anyway. So yeah, we'll just hold up Archmage's Charm to be able to counter this Golos. And just knock Khan down a peg. Won't be able to minus. And then, yeah, I guess we're just passing turn here. Could have also maybe like played Narset there. And when our opponent plays Golos, just use Day of Judgment. Yeah, I don't think we can allow this to resolve. Our opponent having double mana. I don't think I need to think about that too hard. And we can just use our Day of Judgment to answer the Golos. The opponent's going to sacrifice their Khan here. So land would be great, get to play our Teferi. It looks like our opponent might be on the combo variant of this list, where you use Forsaken Monument with the... can't remember the other artifact that lets you exile the top card of your library, and you can untap and tap and that, all that shenanigans. I guess we should sit back. The 1 damage probably isn't worth it to... at least we can block with the Guardian Idols. So yeah, I think we're just playing Narset here. We shall take down. Yeah. At least Iteration can find us a land next turn if needs be. Hopefully we do find one though. Yeah, it would have been really nice to draw land, play Teferi, but I think in the last game we had a lucky spot with land, so we can't be too picky. We don't really have any answers to this as well outside of a Teferi Tuck. And like I said, I guess Golos can find the land. I think it's the indestructible land that you tap like 6 and then you get all 5 colours of mana. Okay. Just Stonecoil Serpent that's a 6/6. No worries. Oof. So I guess we guarantee a land this turn. Guarantee a land this turn, and then we get to just board wipe the Stonecoil Serpent away. Doesn't feel too good. Then we're sort of on the back foot, because our opponent gets to play Golos, and then we have to answer the Golos. Still think we've got to keep this. If we don't tick down, then at least we get to... I guess they're not really drawing cards anyway, so let's just tick down and have a look. Okay, 4 lands. Could attack for 1, but I don't know. If we end up losing it by 1 life, then maybe we're to blame. But yeah, opponent just gets to play Golos here, and then I think they have the mana to... Oh, we're going to stop our Searcher's Canter for a bit. I think they have the mana to activate a Guardian Idol. I'm not sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 mana? Yeah, they definitely have the mana. Yeah, as predicted, they go and get the land that can activate Golos. interesting because we can Expressive Iteration, but if we don't find a land, then we're a bit screwed. So I think we will keep this. I think we will Expressive Iteration first as well, just to see if we can find that land, and then we're just going to board wipe here. Hopefully we find like another board wipe or something. Probably want the memory lapse to go with the Teferi. So we'll take this. And good thing we kept the land as well. So we're putting Teferi on the bottom and just get rid of the Narset. Really want to stop this Golos. I think our opponent actually tutored for the Golos as well, Khan. So there might be a good chance that they don't have Golos's in their list to draw. So that might just be that answered now. That's that threat. He says as they play a Buried Ruin. So this gets back artifact card. Yeah, get back their Golos, get back their guess Stonecoil 7. They probably just get Golos back here. And then what, we're in a position where we need to, I guess we've got 5 mana available to us. So if we do, just a 2020, but yeah, we've had a Wrath of God, so we're gonna have to keep that. And we get to, fortunately, wipe that away, and then we get to hold up our memory lapse. But yeah, if our opponent just gets back Golos, we could just Sunset Revelry to create some chump blockers for it. But we probably need to answer it. Yeah, that's a good one. So our opponent's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana available if we play Teferi, Tuck the Forsaken Monument. So what does our opponent do here, Ugin? They -3. Leave it on 4 loyalty. So we can't even Lightning Helix it. Yeah, I guess let's memory lapse it, but not in a good position here. Haven't yet played against the Colourless list while playing this variant of Jeskai. But it always feels like a difficult list to play against. Obviously, we've got our vetoes in the sideboard, which is good answers to our opponents up to. Yeah, I guess Memory Lapse is one of our better draws there. To play Teferi, tick up, and then hold up Memory Lapse for this Ugin. Hopefully, you can put Ugin back on the top again. Unfortunately, we have to tick up here to untap. If we had the extra land, I could potentially tuck the Forsaken Monument. So opponent's going to get back something now. Yeah, Stonecoil Servant having Trample as well was quite good. Yeah, but Golos. Yeah, because our Revelry tokens can't block it very well. So this is a situation, now they need to -5 so we can finish it off with the Lightning Helix. And they have 2, 4, 6, 8 mana available. I think we have to just let this go. We lose our Search for Azcanta. Otherwise it's like another problem for another day. We don't have an answer to it at the moment, so we'll just let this resolve. Okay, so again, -5. Lose our Search for Azcanta, unfortunately, our Teferi, all of that business. So if we stop Golos now, it's going to be coming up against next turn. They'll have 2, 4, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, no, 10, 12, 14, 15. So 5 mana with 10 left over. They'll definitely be able to activate it. If I could guarantee drawing a land next turn, then we could Teferi, Tuck, Golos, hold up Memory Lapse, Lightning Helix, the Ugin. I think we're going to hope for like an Archmage's Charm here. Or something. I guess this way we have to draw land or end step. Okay, we did draw the land. So yeah, we're gonna Teferi tick up here. Could actually Teferi tuck the Forsaken Monument. No, we'll tick up. And then hopefully we find a memory lapse here. No memory lapse. So our opponent's going to get to spin the Golos wheel here. We're going to hope that they hit just mana ramp and not much else. Unfortunately, we haven't really got a plan for even if we do manage to untap with Teferi. Let's see though. We're kind of just hoping our opponent either doesn't combo off or doesn't, it's a good land to grab, doesn't combo off or doesn't manage to hit like an Ugin or an answer to our Teferi. I think that said what they put on top. Yeah, pretty happy with them hits. Opponent could have activated Guardian Idol as well there. So we tuck Golos, third from the top. They draw for turn, it'll be second from the top. And then they can activate Mind Stone, but they can't draw any further. And we still get to activate Castle Vantress as well. It's only if they have more cards in hand. I guess we'll play Castle Vantress first. We'll cast our Sunset Reverie first, so we get the 2 jump blockers, so we can defend Teferi. And then we'll just tuck this Golos. Assume we see our opponent end step here, Mind Stone. And I think it's more important for us to scry here than put our companion into our hand. So if our opponent can draw another card, it's unfortunate. I guess the Hedron Archive actually can draw our opponent more cards. Looks like they're going to tap it for mana though. No, don't worry, they had the second Golos in hand. Okay, so our opponent's going to get to spin the wheel again here. Putting another Void. No. Okay, Crawling Barrens. Opponent just wants to end this game. Okay. We can live with that hand, though it is unfortunate. Our opponent's just got so much life. So yeah, we're just in chump block mode here, defend Teferi. I guess our plan is find board wipe. Board wipe doesn't really do it though. Shark Typhoon doesn't really do it. There's not really too many things on our list. We might just scoop it up just for the sake of saving time here. I think we're gonna not draw in our upkeep. Commit's not a bad one. Well, we got to tick up.
We need to move quickly.
Okay, Archmage's Charm. So, I guess we can put Golos back and then Archmage's Charm. They get to Hedron Archive, draw it, but we can hopefully counter it on the way back down. Good chance our opponent will answer our Teferi here as well. They get to just activate both Guardian Idols. We get to block with 1. If we had an Narset in play, maybe it'd be a bit different, because we'd get to memory with Narset. And our opponent wouldn't be able to draw back and draw towards these Golosses as easy. But yeah, it feels very much at this point we're fighting a losing battle. Especially since we're 1 mana short of scrying now. But yeah, we just haven't got enough resources left after fighting the initial battle. All of this mana is just so difficult to keep up with. Though it looks like our opponent might not have much else to do. Gonna lose our Teferi here, which probably means we're gonna have to upkeep Scry. I mean, I guess we could just take our draw step. If we find a Narset off the top, then we get to... Oh. I think we're just gonna... We'll take our draw step and see what we draw. But there's not too much we can do here. Yeah, we'll scoop it up. There might be a world in which we can win that. I reckon maybe the chance of us winning that's like 5-6% or something. So yeah, we'll not bother with that. Prismari Command is something we're definitely going to want here. Dovin's Vetoes, I think, as well, something we could want. I did originally run 2 Prismari Commands, both in the main as well, before I put the Sunset Revelries in. But just decided they weren't that relevant. This is the first time I'm playing against this list in maybe half a year or something. What do we want to cut? Yeah, Sunset Revelry is not great here. Lightning Helix isn't great as well, but could definitely want them. Obviously, just being able to answer massive creatures. We saw the board wipes are really, really helpful there. Lightning Helix could be okay. But I can finish off Planeswalkers and things like that. It's probably better than some of our other options. And yeah, I don't think we want anything else. Like, Rest in Peace is okay. Like, our opponent was utilising their graveyard a little bit. With, like, Buried Ruin, but yeah. I think that's fine. We'll just run it like this and see how we go. Okay, so we're on the play against this Colourless combo list. They didn't combo off last game, but it's probably likely that they have it in there somewhere. And I think we're going to have to mulligan this hand. We can't even cast Expressive Iteration, and 3 board wipes is not where we want to be. This hand's better, not like fantastic still. Still feels a little bit slow, but I think it's probably better than going to 5. Commit's like a good answer to something on board. Shark Typhoon is our turn 3 play, but I guess Archmage's Charm's our turn 3 play as well, so probably just put Shark Typhoon on the bottom. So we can go 3. If we miss something, we get to commit that back. And hopefully you find like a memory lapse or something. So let's just play this out. 1 more land would be great. Just get to Teferi, and then hopefully... The opponent have no land? Okay, opponent's hoping to find a land. There's a chance here we can do this. If our opponent doesn't do anything, we're just going to draw 2 with our Archmage's Charm. Okay, so our opponent got mana screwed. Gets a really, really greedy hand there. So it wasn't really a game, so we can't really sideboard any further. Just to confer, I don't think what Mystical Dispute is just an extra counter spell since our opponent normally has tons of mana. Could run like Portable Hold instead of one of our board wipes, maybe. It would answer Sorcerer's Spyglass. I actually think I quite like that. Can answer things like Sorcerer's Spyglass. Our opponent's 2 mana ramp, which is quite relevant, slowing them down. So we'll run it like that. Looks like our opponent's kept their hand of 7. Don't know if they've been greedy or not, but we're definitely going to mulligan this and not be greedy ourselves. And yeah, we can keep this. Maybe put one of these Sulphur Falls on the bottom. Could put Narset on the bottom. Put a land on the bottom. It's a little bit greedy. Because Narset can find us more action, but can't find us lands, obviously. But equally, if we put the Narset at the bottom, then we're trying to find a card advantage engine. I don't think I'm too concerned by the Mazemind Tome. Well, I guess turn 3 is also a good turn to... our opponent's not going to have much here. Maybe we do just answer this. What could our opponent have? They can have mana ramp. If our opponent just passes the turn here and draws with Mazemind Tome, we're going to feel pretty bad. Probably scries in response here. Just get a little bit of value. Hopefully I'm not getting punished by something. It didn't tell me if they're top or bottom. Yeah, hopefully we don't get punished here. Maybe there's something I'm not thinking about. Okay, we're not punished. I think we gotta just hold up our counter spell this turn. Can stop pretty much whatever our opponent wants to do, and then hopefully we either draw a land or our iteration's going to find us a land. Yeah, just... I guess we can just steal this. And then start smacking our opponent down. Could just draw 2 cards as well. Honestly, could just counter it and then stick on the same plan. But we probably want to keep our counter magic, but then we're dealing with it, aren't we? Best thing to do here. I think we can steal it. I think it's still a X cost creature. Yeah. So we'll just steal this. And then we're going to hope that we hit a land. Sweet. We've got Narset to find us card advantage, but I guess we don't really care about the Lightning Helix anyway, so we'll put Teferi into hand on the bottom. And then exile this. And then we get to start beating our opponent down a bit. And I guess we got Memory Lapse to do something, or we can Dovin's Veto, but I don't know what we're going to do here. We get to basically stop what our opponent's going to do, and then if we draw land to Theory... okay, sweet. So our opponent didn't really have anything there. I don't know what can punish us here, so we're just going to play Teferi. The alternative is playing Narset, and then you get to at least hold up your counter magic in response to the cast and going through to your end step. But I don't know what can punish us, so... It looks like our opponent's a bit stuck, maybe. Maybe they're waiting for their 6th land for something, but our opponent's in a little bit of a bad position now because we get to beat them down with this Stonecoil Serpent each turn, and we just have memory lapses for days.
We need to move quickly.
So we'll just iteration here. Yeah, we'll just put Memory Lapse into hand. Put this on the bottom and exile the Lightning Helix. Don't really need that. And we're going to get to untap 2 lands. We want to hold up double... play Narset, I guess. And then we get to hold up our counter magic still. Might be incorrect there, and it's just better to hold up 2 counter spells. But our opponent's under multiple angles of pressure here. But we got Memory Lapse, and then obviously Memory Lapse again, so our opponent's falling to 4 just with the cards in our hand. They're in a bit of a sticky situation.
You know what? I'm not done.
Yeah, Jeskai Control so far, performing pretty well. It performed well off of camera as well. But it's nice to know it can do well while recording. And then, yeah, we'll just play Searchers Canter here. And then I don't really see any reason to tap down any further. Teferi's putting him under enormous pressure. And so is Stonecoil Serpent. Because we can Memory Lapse here, and even if we don't find an Archmage's Charm on Memory Lapse for the next turn, which is quite likely considering we get to draw a Teferi, Searchers Canter, and Narset, they still have to answer the Teferi on their following turn through 2 Dovin's Vetoes, because we can just hold the Stonecoil Serpent back. Yeah, so we Memory Lapse it, and if our opponent just wants to cast it again on the next turn, it's over. Because obviously Teferi's ultimating at that point. Just let them have the Golos, ultimate the Teferi, and it's going to be very difficult for them to play through that. But they know about the veto, so they can't really cast a non-creature spell here. Okay, so it looks like our opponent just used up all their timers. They passed through their turn without doing anything, so pretty much conceded at this point. It's going to be difficult for them to beat us without taking a play. But I skipped the whole of that thing, because I don't think it's fair for you guys to have to sit through that. I shall take one for the team. And if they let this time expire, I think that's a concession, maybe. So we'll see. But this game's pretty much a win at this point. But yeah, Jeskai doing really well at the moment. We'll see how much time we got. Maybe we have time for an extra game. That would seem like a diverse roster of decks today. And yeah, there's the concession. Our opponent decided not to take a further action and concede the game like that. And we're moving up to Platinum Tier 3. Not the highest we've been before, but like I said, been taking it slow. So exciting to get back up to this. This is the highest I've been in a few months. So hopefully we go through to Diamond and fingers crossed, maybe Mythic. Howdy guys, cheers for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching some Jeskai Control. So how did this do in Historic? Like I said, I'm in Platinum at the moment, so take that as you may, take it with a pinch of salt. Like maybe you're sitting up in Diamond and it's a little bit more competitive, and maybe you're a bit lower and this list is actually going to perform better for you. But either way, like you judge that for yourself. But how do you think the list did overall? I think from the games, we played all 3 games back to back, and we only had time for 3. I wanted to make the video short, and we won all 3 games. Be it the Orzhov Humans list was by the skin of our teeth. Sunset Revelry coming in. Like I said, it does have its place, I think, against these really fast creature games, or the sort of mid-range creature matchups. Just got some chump blockers, gain some life, and sometimes you get to cycle it as well. I don't know if I'll keep it in when we come back round to review Jeskai, because we'll hopefully do that in a few weeks. We'll play Jeskai again, and maybe it'll be in there. It's sort of just dependent when you're testing the list, what you're sort of coming up against. So Sunset Revelry I felt like was good here, but might not be good carrying on moving forward. Archmage's Charm as well, just excellent. Even when I was testing this, it's just so good. It's so diverse. I think you saw in that Colourless match, we managed to attack our opponent in 2 different angles by taking the Stonecoil Serpent. Obviously, if you play against Gruul as well, like I said, I think in the intro, you can play against, you can take their Pelt Collector, which is really, really good as well. So I'm really, really impressed about Archmage's Charm. It can get you out of mulligan situations as well by just drawing some extra cards. Like I said, 3 mana Divination is nothing to scoff at. It's good enough. Rest of the list is pretty much identical. I don't think I've ever played Expressive Iteration on video before, so it was nice to sort of get to experience that with you guys as well. I played it while testing, and yeah, it's really good. It's really difficult to evaluate, I think, because there's a lot of situations where Expressive Iteration just doesn't get you there. You don't find the land you need, you find too many lands. It's a 2 mana look at the top 3, but them situations where you can take your turn 3 off to Expressive Iteration, either put a board wipe in hand, maybe prepping for your turn 4, and then you get to exile a land, or maybe you just grab 2 lands, get to play your land for turn, then you got a land for the next turn. It does pay off in them, and it is excellent in the control matchups. It's fantastic. The game can sort of be decided by how many Expressive Iterations a player draws, so it is worth having in there, but it does have its moments where it misses. Shark Typhoon, good as always. Commit to Memory, we didn't really get to see the combo, but like I said, it is one more avenue of attack. Edmund Castner, this worked pretty well. We didn't end up putting Kahira into our hand at all. Didn't really come up. Maybe there were some avenues that I could have won the game by putting them into my hand, but I chose not to do that. Sideboard, yeah, everything was fine. I think things worked out. There was, I think, maybe Prismari Command. We came up against the Colourless combo list, which is the first time I've actually played against that since the whole of testing, getting up to Platinum as well. So if this becomes a thing that starts to pop up more often, then maybe we want to move our Prismari Commands, either put more in the sideboard or change them out for the Sunset Revelries. Don't know, it's sort of going to be a meta call. You sort of judge it as you want when you're climbing the ladder. But yeah, that was the video today, Jeskai Control. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. If you did, maybe consider dropping it a like and subscribe. If you can't, don't worry about it. We're all busy doing things. I did mention at the beginning of the video, though, that there'd be some extra info coming up of stuff coming on the channel. I said when I created the channel originally that I wanted to not just do Magic content. Magic content's obviously my core. I love the game. Even if I take a month or 2 out, I am going to be back recording some Magic at some point. Yeah, completely fell in love with this. But I do want to record other things as well and put on the channel. And I've been collaborating with another YouTuber recently to a good friend of mine as well to record some Halo content as well, Master Chief, since It's been a while since my childhood since I played that, so we're currently doing a legendary campaign through there. So check out on the channel, hopefully be up, and we're going to do an episode, so video and episode. So check that out on the channel if you're interested. If not, I guess just push that to the side, say don't recommend to me anymore, and yeah, move on with your lives. But if Halo is something you're interested in watching, it'll just be me and him sort of talking through it as we're going, and yeah, just having a laugh, really, not taking it too seriously. But yeah, that's all the info, and hopefully as we move forward with the channel, maybe in a few months we'll look at recording other games at the same time. So if you're only interested in Magic, then you might need to switch off for certain videos. But if you're interested in either myself or just various other games, then yeah, drop them down in the comments. Maybe we can pick up some different games as well and record them. That could be really fun. So yeah, like I said, that's everything that's going on at the moment. This has been Jeskai Control. Pick it up in a few more days where we pick up another control list. Azorius is looking really good at the moment, so hopefully we get round to playing that. Leave down your comments on below, like suggestions for how the deck could be changed, misplays I made, things I could have done better, or just say simply good job, mate, well done. Good to see you back. But yeah, that's everything, and I will catch you again in the next video.